Hey everybody, this is Drew, as Julie said, and I'll give you a quick overview of our Sapling Learning online homework platform. And so before I start, I've got a chemistry course up, but Sapling is available for biology, chemistry, and physics. They're all aligned to the NGSS standards. So for on-level, you have biochem and physics. And then we do have AP products as well, which just include the online homework portion, which I'll show you in these courses as well, for all of the AP sciences as well. But this is a course homepage. This is something you would have access to, and it's your own custom homepage, which you can use as it is out of the box, or you can customize it as much as you'd like as well. Students would have access to this. It is web-based. So they can access it at school, at home. It's very mobile friendly as well. You've got some admin tools over here on the left-hand side. And then on the right-hand side, there's an upcoming events calendar that'll populate if you do choose to set due dates. And then there's actually a link to the e-textbooks as well. And then if you continue scrolling down the page, this is where you find all of the resources. So essentially, Sapling it's similar to Launchpad in that it actually is a full curriculum. So you do have a full textbook. You do have additional resources, teacher resources, student resources, as well as an assessment platform that you can use. However, we do have a lot of schools and districts that actually use it as an additional supplement as well. So it doesn't mean you necessarily have to switch textbooks. If you have one you currently do like, you can still use Sapling as a supplement to that. But I'll scroll down. I'm going to skip chapter 1. It's more about a lot of kind of intro science skills, but we'll go to chapter 2. And as you can see, we kind of, as I scroll down, we kind of repeat all of these sections and individual features over and over. So we try to do the same thing, the same layout for every section. So, for example, if we look at section 2.1 of the book, the first link for every section is actually going to take you to the ebook. And so if you click that, it'll actually open up our ebook in our e-reader, which is web-based. So you've got kind of a toolbar over here which allows you to search your notes. If you had your own bookmarks or highlights, you can search all from within them as well. But then it's all built in, very similar to most ebook platforms. You can add highlights. You can pick a specific color of the highlight. You can actually add notes as well. And even share those notes down to your students. So you can even highlight certain areas and share a note with your students. You do have the ability to quickly kind of skim through the pages as well. Within the ebook, if there are any additional videos, animations, interactives, they're actually embedded within the page. So this video right here actually, or this image is actually a video for physical change. So you can actually click this link and it'll actually open up this video for you. I'll let this play for a second.
The sublimation of solid CO2, or dry ice, and the melting of ice are both phase changes. A phase change is an example of a physical change. A physical change is one that changes the form of the chemical substance, but not its chemical composition. In both...
So I'll mute him, but essentially all of our embedded videos are going to have closed captioning, which you saw I was able to turn on, turn off. But the videos are there, and you're able to pull them up while you're in reading, or even just to use within class as you're going over that specific topic. If I jump back to the course page, so that's the ebook that you can pull up as far as for the content. And if I jump back to chapter 2, so that first link took us to the ebook. Then what we do, we actually provide power lessons for every section of the book, and sometimes the section is actually broken up into multiple power lessons. But a power lesson is essentially a video lecture. So it's everything that a student would read or cover in that section of the book, but presented in a video format. So I'm going to play this one for a quick
properties
second.
And changes, extensive and differentiate between physical changes and chemical changes. An extensive property is a property of matter that is quantity.
So I'll mute the audio, but as you can see, it's a video with the audio overlay. Same features as all the other videos. There's closed captioning, so if you do have struggling readers or students that you know aren't going to go through and actually read the textbook, the power lessons make a great way for them to get that information. So basically, you could actually watch a video of our entire textbook as well. So if a student watched all the power lessons, they're going to get all of that content that's covered in the book that they could read as well. One of the nice things, even though we are web-based, we try to make everything available offline. So for these videos, if you do have a student that might not have an internet at home, but does have a device, all of the videos you can save as, and it would allow you to save them to your desktop or to a flash drive that you could, you or a student could even take and use offline as well. Jumping back to the course page, so the Power Lessons are actually video lessons that are made from PowerPoints. So we actually do give you access to those PowerPoints as well. These are regular PowerPoints that you can go in and use and present if you prefer to. They're fully editable and printable, so you can go in, add your own slides, edit the words that are on there, add your own images. All of the PowerPoints do come with the speaker notes down here. So these can be really good for substitute teachers that might not necessarily have a science background, and allows them to go through it, but then still gives them some speaking points and some information on the topic. And then the last kind of instructional tool that's included with every section is the study sheet. So for every section of the book, there's a study sheet, and these are essentially perfect notes. So if you had a student take, your best student take notes for a section of the book that you went over, what would it look like? And these are usually 1 to 2 pages of notes. They include images or definitions, any of the important information from that section of the book. And these you can print, you can save. We present them in PDF format, but we actually give you the Word version as well, so you could actually go in. If you wanted to remove some key terms, delete it in Microsoft Word, create a fill-in-the-blank worksheet, you have that ability as well. And so the last piece, which I've kind of skipped over, are all of these green links with the little Sapling logo. So anytime you see those links throughout a chapter or throughout the whole course, those are Sapling activities or sets of questions. And so if you click on those, as a teacher, it'll actually take you to the activity editor, which allows you to edit the activity. So if you want to change some of the questions, if you want to come over here and set specific due dates or grading parameters, you can do all of that here. So it doesn't mean you have to use the program or the questions and the assessments the exact way we've set it up. You certainly have the ability to edit and customize as much as you want. But if you just wanted to see what students would actually see, or let students run with it as it is out of the box, when a student clicks into a green link, into a Sapling activity, this is exactly what it looks like for them. So they can see their grade book that'll populate over here as they go through. As far as question types, there's multiple choice, multiple select, numeric entry, matching, grouping. There's all different types of questions. And then the big difference within Sapling is when students actually go through a question, they have a check answer button down here at the bottom. And you notice I got this question incorrect. And so the way Sapling handles incorrect answer choices is it does provide a specific and differentiated feedback based on that incorrect answer. So they do get that feedback. They can click try again. The program will also give them a hint as well. And so they can read that additional hint. And then they can actually attempt the question again. Click check answer. And you notice I got this question incorrect again, but the feedback is different based on the common misconception we think most kids get when they do select this answer choice. And so it is by default set up with a lot of the homework activities so that students can attempt questions multiple times and then get that feedback based on their specific misconception. If they do even get it correct, all of the questions do have a solutions tab. So even if let's say I guessed and got this correct the very first time, I could click the solutions tab and get a detailed reasoning why this actually is the correct answer choice. And so it's almost like having a teacher sit behind a student as they go through and give them little hints, little feedbacks based on their specific misconception as they go through. All of the questions can be printed. So you can print an individual question or an entire assignment if you need to do a pencil paper worksheet as well. But think of this as essentially your worksheet, but it's digital, and it's also going to be providing students with feedback as they go through it. The best part is if you do use the digital, have students do it digitally, everything does go to a grade book. Let me pull that up. Here we go. So I've got a pre-populated grade book I just want to show you real quick. Looks like your standard grade book. You can export it to Excel or CSV if you need to put it into your school's grading system, but you can see all of your students. You can see their total grades for an individual activity. But then if you click into that, you kind of get this heat map, which is very beneficial because of the way Sapling is set up, because students can actually get questions correct, but it might take them multiple attempts. And so as a square shades from dark green to light yellow, that means the student did get it correct, but as it goes to yellow, it actually means it took them more than one attempt. So they got all the differentiated feedback, the additional hints. And so if we hover over, for example, Maria, question 1, you can see all the details about this question. It was a titration question. It actually took her 6 attempts before she did get it correct. Whereas if we go to question 3, it was a volume displacement question. She got it correct on the very first attempt. And so if we jump down here to Albert, he's got the red square with lines through it, meaning he attempted it 3 times, still didn't get it correct, and he even gave up and viewed the solution on this question. So it gives you a real quick snapshot that you can look at and be able to determine how to interact with an individual student, or then even class-wide changes or interpretations that'll help you change your teaching for the next day, or prep for getting them ready for a specific test or lesson. So that's Sapling in a quick nutshell. If I jump back to the course page, essentially everything is just repeated for every section of the book. So we were in chapter 2, and as you can see, this one actually has multiple activities here, and then there's actually even a quiz at the end of every chapter. But then if we go to section 2.2, that links out to the book. There's power lessons, there's study sheets, there's activities, and as you scroll down, it just has every single chapter and every single feature that's included with those sections. And so all of that, as I said earlier, is web-based, so it's available 24/7. The automatic grading for the homework feature is something a lot of our schools and teachers really enjoy. But that's about it. Julie, are there any questions or anything I can show again?
Yes, we have one question. Can you show how to assign again?
Sure. So I'll scroll down to chapter 2. And let's say we've been working on states of matter. If I wanted to assign a specific activity, if I click into it, as a teacher, it's going to take me here. So this is exactly what you would see as a teacher. There's a settings pane over here on the right-hand side, and you can actually set an available from date. So actually, if you don't want students to work on this until a certain date, you could set that up. Or you could set a due date here. We want to do Friday, and you can set the specific time as well. And then you just click Save. And now the due date's set. So if we jump back out here, you notice on the upcoming events calendar on the right-hand side, that's going to be populated, which if the students download the free app, it'll sync with their calendar, remind them on their mobile phones as well. And if we scroll down here, you can see Chapter 2, solids, liquids, and gases is actually going to be due on the 18th.
My school is switching to Google Classroom. Will this work with that? Is there a way to embed this into that or link to it?
So you can certainly use it in conjunction with Google Classroom. Sapling is actually built in Moodle. So if you're familiar with Moodle, it's actually a full LMS itself. But what you could do if you're using Google Classroom is when you pull up your course page where you actually are able to communicate with your students, you could just put a Sapling link and actually link them to our sign-in page, which is actually just hs.saplinglearning.com. And then it would take them directly to Sapling. And then the way we handle usernames and passwords with Sapling is we actually set it all up for you. So we create your class, we upload all of your students, we create their usernames and passwords. So if there's a specific username and password combination that you use or students use within your district, we can try to accommodate that and create that as their same login within Sapling so that every username and password they use for other programs is the same.
All right. And then another question is, I received a free 6 months of this and the reps set up the classes, but how do I get it out to my students?
So once the course has been set up, the implementation team should reach out to you and ask for your student information so that they can create all of your student users, usernames, passwords. But basically, once they've done that, they'll send you back a spreadsheet with a list of usernames and passwords. All you have to do is share that information with your students. Tell them where they can log in, which would be hs.saplinglearning.com. And it looks similar. I guess I'm logged in here. Let me log out. It looks similar to this. They'll put in their username and their password here, and it'll take them directly to your course homepage. And if you need any additional help after this, I'd be more than happy. Julie's going to leave our contact information at the end, so we'd be more than happy to help you through that as well.
All right. And just another question too, Drew. Could you list all of the subjects that are available with Sapling?
Sure. It's so for on-level, it's on-level biology, chemistry, and physics. And then for AP, it's AP biology, AP chemistry, AP physics. And the AP courses just include the online homework portion, so the green link, the activities. So only the on-level courses have all the additional power lessons, study sheets, PowerPoint and such, but the AP courses do include all of the questions.
All right. Another question we have. Can you open a lab assignment for us to see what that looks like?
Sure. Let me, I think I'm going to have to sign back in here. So the labs that are included for each subject for the on-level courses, there's anywhere between 8 to 13 virtual labs. And so let me take you to, this is my favorite one. So this one is on electron arrangement. So all of the labs are untimed, ungraded activities. They're actually embedded within the book. So if we were in chapter 3.4, there's actually a page where this lab pops up, but you can also access it from here. But if we click it, all of the virtual labs will include a learning objective as well as a real-world application. This one actually includes a how-to video, so it shows them how to, let me mute her. It actually shows them how to use this tool that we're going to play with here. But I'll close this and we'll actually go into it. So this one's on electron arrangement. So basically they have to build atoms and follow the proper laws. So if the students are building it, let's put some electrons in here. We've done 2 of them, and you notice the orbital diagram will populate as I'm going through it. And let's say I try to add a 3rd electron. It'll actually let me know which law I violated. And as I'm going through, you can add different orbitals, add more electrons until you get it correct. There's different levels, so obviously we started off lithium pretty basic, but if we go up into level 3, we've got some bigger atoms where we're going to have to get into some deeper orbitals as well. So there's all different types of virtual labs. It just depends if it's something virtual that we can present on digitally. So this one's on conservation of math, as you see, learning objective and real world. That's going to be the same and the standard throughout. But then it gives them some specific instructions, and they can go through it and follow these. But again, these are all untimed, ungraded. But if you jump back to the course page, you'll notice underneath each lab, there's actually a green link. So there's actually a set of questions that cover that lab as well.
Question is, the dynamic chemistry, does it also integrate NGSS Earth Science Standards?
I'm not 100% sure. So on the course page, there is on the right-hand side, as I scroll down, there's student resources and then teacher resources. So in the additional resources section, there is an alignment guide, which we can download and open. I don't believe so, but I might have to double check with the content team, but there is an alignment guide. So within the trial, you can certainly see that and pull up all of the different standards so you can see what's covered in what section and chapter of the book.
Another question from Suzanne. Am I correct that your online features are web-based? Do they use EPUB software? My students need to access these materials via their iPads. Is this compatible with iPads?
Yes. Sapling, the books, the actual textbooks are actually in the iTunes store. So for your students that do have an iPad, the books are actually in the iBook store, which allows the students to actually download the books. And the neat part about that is once they've actually downloaded the book, so if we pull up Dynamic Chemistry, after they download the book, and it's $14.99 if you wanted to just download it individually, or if a student wanted to, or a parent, it's available offline. So it's actually stored on the device. So for example, when we watched that video that was embedded within the page of Chapter 2, students would have access to that even if they didn't have internet connection. So the book itself is in iBooks. There is a free app that allows them to access a lot of the resources from the course homepage. So some of these additional study sheets, PowerPoints, Power Lessons. The only feature, which is Flash-based, that they would not be able to do on the iPad directly would be the activities. So the green links. But great question.
All right, are there any other questions? Suzanne said thank you, Drew. Okay, well, thank you all so much. And if you have any questions, don't hesitate to shoot us an email.
Thanks, guys. Have a good day.
Great day.